Well, on the giant robots note, I just want to point out breaking news. Pacific Rim 2 has been officially announced for a release date of April 7th, 2017, and Guillermo del Toro is confirmed.
Wow.
So what do we think about Pacific Rim 2 actually happening? It's going to be in 3D and IMAX 3D.
Is that why he dropped out of the Disney project? You think?
Possibly for the Beauty and the Beast
Beauty
one.
and the Beast, yeah.
Probably, but also that may have been one of those ones that was just maybe taking too long to come together.
I would like to see him take another shot at it because I think he actually from Hellboy to Hellboy 2, he kind of refined it and got a little bit better. I think the same thing might happen with Pacific Rim. I thought Pacific Rim was okay. I didn't hate it. Like, a lot of people really hated it. I thought it was like kind of a bunch of, sound and fury signifying nothing.
But that was also, I think, and it's weird, having just discussed Transformers, that I think Pacific Rim did a better job of keeping that awe factor with the giant robots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But oddly enough, it was the human relationships, with the exception of Idris Elba, but that didn't work in that movie. So maybe if they did, since they're doing Pac Rim 2, maybe you just need a stronger kind of core human element to it this time.
Human relationships aside, Godzilla crushes all of these movies. Crushes them
in
dead.
terms of the
so
monster fights.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I mean, I think that the robot monster fights in Pacific Rim were a ton of fun. And it's funny that you say that because I know more people that love Pacific Rim. And one of the things that they say about Pacific Rim versus Transformers is like, hey, maybe you don't like the human story. At least he kept it simple. Yeah. And at least one thing led to it. It made sense versus...
there was some sort of linear through line.
Like Transformers 4, it is like a little kid. And then this, no reason.
I did like the simplicity of Pacific Rim. I have to say, it was nice to not get super complicated. It was like, hey, we've got these giant robots, but again, it was too long. Giant aliens.
Yeah,
always. What is that with these guys?
And I agree, Jim. As you know, we've talked about this. Is that to me the disappointing aspect of that movie was the human element, and then I thought, okay, well, if it's not totally working, then don't stay on it that long and just do some more giant robot monster fights,
right.
We'd be complaining about that though. If it
maybe, but I think that if Charlie Hunnam, I like him. I think he's a really good actor, but for something like that, I felt like he really needed whoever today's Kurt Russell is, Chris
Pratt. I actually feel like Taylor Kitsch kind of falls into that Charlie Hunnam zone, and that too,
the Charlie Hunnam zone.
He doesn't really have what. Chris Pratt seems to have, well, we haven't seen Guardians yet, but he seems to have a little bit more charisma on screen, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he is more, or what Harrison Ford had. He had presence, he had a sense of humor, he had sort of a everyman, but still cocky, kind of heroic feel. He had all of that mixed into one. That's super rare. We don't see that a lot.
Well, it'll be exciting and curious to see what Guillermo actually does with Pacific Rim 2. It's 2017. It's I don't know. Maybe is that too long to wait for a sequel to Pacific Rim? The original came out in 2013. 4 years. I mean, How to Train Your Dragon 2, 4-year wait. It's not making as much money as the original. Star Trek Into Darkness, 4-year wait didn't.
I think this is another case where you're looking at international receipts versus U.S. receipts, and that's the biggest factor, totally.
I think it's, I mean, you made a really good point about Hellboy, and which makes me very curious to see this movie now, because he did this the second time around, sort of refine what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it's a good movie and people still have an appetite for giant monsters fighting giant robots, which I feel like probably worldwide we do, I think
pretty sure that won't go away anytime soon.
Well,
it'll work out.